Welcome, everyone, to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. If you've checked the news in the past day or so, you have no doubt noticed that there is a huge campaign right now to vilify Israel. It's a highly coordinated effort engineered by the entities who seek Israel's destruction to paint Israel as the bad guy, as the perpetrator of crimes against humanity, starvation in Gaza, when in fact that sole title should go to Hamas. This month alone, Israel has sent in 34,133 tons of aid into Gaza on 1,684 trucks, the majority of which go through the Kerem Shalom crossing. And it brings aid, whether it's chicken, beef, fish, all kinds of materials to the people of Gaza. There's medical supplies, there's shelter equipment. If you do the math of all of the aid that has been brought into Gaza since the beginning of the war, it turns out that it's about 1 kilo per person per day in Gaza. That's the numbers, that's the volume of aid, of food that is being given by Israel to the Gazan people. There is no doubt that conditions in Gaza are bad. It's a war, and Hamas uses the Gazan people as human shields. Hamas tries to attack the convoys of food and prevent the people from getting the aid because that is the strategy of Hamas, causing uproar in the world. And then people blame Israel when in fact, of course, it's Hamas to blame, right? The West seems to think that getting humanitarian aid in Gaza is like going out for takeout at your favorite restaurant. It's like DoorDash or Uber Eats. You're hungry, you put in an order, you get some food. But obviously, it doesn't work quite that way. Israel is doing its best, but there is a hostile terrorist entity stopping the deliveries and trying to stop the humanitarian aid. It's Hamas is solely to blame. We're going to spend more time on this topic next week, getting some experts who are in the field dealing with this issue to share their personal experience with the challenges and the frustrations of really providing humanitarian aid in Gaza and doing all that is necessary and more than necessary that Israel is really doing in order to solve these issues. So stay tuned next week when we address this in greater detail. We also have some critical infographics, some details to share with you in our email. So if you are not registered to our emails, register today so that you can share some of the infographics on this issue of famine and humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Is it real? Is it not real? Join our email list so we can get you the details. So I always look for interesting people to speak with about this war, to bring to you the heroes of Israel. And I sat down with Chief Superintendent Avi Elkeslasy, who is well known in Israeli media, but very rarely does interviews in the foreign press and certainly not in English. Avi recently moved to the Gaza envelope to give solidarity to the people in that area. And he is a fascinating person to talk with, to listen to, and to learn from. And I spoke with him about his interaction with police. He was a chief superintendent in the Israeli police. So I spoke with him about his interaction with police in the US, similarities, differences, how they view the world, how they view the threat from the Middle East. We spoke about what is happening in Israel right now. And of course, we spoke about one of his areas of expertise, violence in the Arab sector, something that he knows a lot about through his important policing work. So bear with me for a moment while I pull up that interview from earlier today.
We live in Netiv Asara, the Otef. Yes, we came to make the people strong here 2 months ago. We are warriors, so we came to make the area strong again. I always say that Zionism needs to not to be heard only, but to be done. So I'm doing. I was at the police for 33 years. all kind of parts. Chief Superintendent. I was the chief of Kiryat Gat Station, Rosh Hashanah Station, Rehovot Station. I was the head of the intelligence in the northern precinct. And I was in the undercover unit of Judah and Samaria in Magav, מסתערבים, anti-terror, all kind of jobs, and mainly in the central unit of central district as a chief of drugs and hard criminals, detectives and intelligence and investigations, all kind of. So I've been around almost everywhere, but that's in the police. Before I was in Golani, an officer in the military. In 91, I was injured. I got in the Jordanian border near Tirat Zvi. Have a 62 bullet in my head.
Wow.
And yeah, I always tell my wife that I'm scratched. I have a diploma for it, so she cannot complain. That's it. Love my country. One God, one country, one wife. That's me.
Your perspective on the Middle East compared to
Now,
your experience when you were in the States, is there a big difference between the way you see the world and the police that you met abroad see the world?
different perspective by miles. Like by far, I have good friends from there now. I think they are starting to realize bit by bit now. But yes, there's a big difference when you live with them and between when you hear about it. And I think that's one of the biggest problem of Israel today, that we cannot make them feel and see and understand what's waiting for them as it happens to us. If we can do this delivery for them and they will understand, I think it will be better for us and for the whole world, because now we are in a critical time. That's one of the problem with the understanding of Islam or tribe or tribe mentality. The tribe mentality is very violent, is very territorial, is very powerful, and it doesn't hesitate to use it, to use her power once against each other. And if they don't have a fight between them, they are coming towards us. I have a problem with the word peace. Islam doesn't allow it. Radical Islam doesn't allow it. It's only hudna. Hudna is a period of time that you have after you lost to make strong again. Once you feel you are strong enough, you need to attack. That's what the Islam says. That's why there will never be a whole peace with nobody. It will be a period of time, a hudna. It doesn't matter what you will give them. The
Right.
biggest trouble we have now in the Middle East is Gaza. Gaza, because of the hostages. And I think that the we need to find a quick solution, an aggressive one, in my opinion, because there are a bunch of tunnels and murderers there. Very, very not human persons after what they have done in October 7th. And we need to finish this process by eliminating Hamas and taking charge again and take the Palestinians people, how they call themselves, or the Gazan people that doesn't want to stay there and allow them to go out to other countries to live better, because here they will not be able to live better in this condition.
I'm hearing you speak. I'm getting a general sense of your ideologies and your belief system in life. And then you say
On
you live in
general,
you you
you
s-
are gentle. I think you have been a politician.
no, no, no.
It's not general. It's very direct.
Right. So that brings my question. You say that you moved to Nativa Asara to be
Yeah.
mechazek them, to give them strength. I've been to
Yes.
Nativa Asara, and certainly before the war, and I'm wondering how do your belief systems fit with the residents you are now meeting living in Nativa Asara?
Many of them were on the other side before the 7th of October. Now, a lot of them uh, have a clear mind for it because they have seen horrors. Some of them left and never come back with small children. They will not come back again. Some of them. That's one of the reason that we came.
Right.
And some of them stayed, and some of them will come back now. Um, there are some people that think that we need to talk and we need to get to an agreement, but they are less and less every day because it's not possible to live here, to see what they have seen or feel what they have felt, and still think otherwise than to protect yourself and your children. If
Right.
you will not be decisive, and if you will not be aggressive, and if we will not be ready in all in all of our borders, we don't stand a chance. Now I think that most of the Israeli people understand that. Uh, I hope that some of the Western world will understand it before it will be too late for them.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk about the West for a moment. I could understand why a politician, why a world leader, an ambassador needs to have this grasp of who the enemy is and these geopolitics, as you're saying. But I'm curious to know on the level of police, right?
Yeah,
The men and the women on the streets really fighting crime, whether
yeah.
they're in Israel or in the U.S. Does it really matter if they understand the complexities and the nuances of the enemy? Do they not just take their orders from their higher ups? Like, why would you say it's important for them to have the kind of the mindset that you have?
There is something. There's a point in what you are saying. Okay, well, when you're on the service, you take orders. You do what you have told. If it's legal and it's right, you do your job, um, and you try to do it the best. I think that policemen all over the world, in general, we share the same difficulties, and more or less in the job on the job. So we are brothers in blue. It doesn't matter where we are from or what we believe in. But it became very sharp for them when they started to stand across from the demonstrations of pro-Palestine, and they saw the hate and they saw the violence, and then policemen react for that directly. It's more efficient for us than everything else in a policeman way of seeing. I think now a lot of them is experiencing that feeling that we had before, and they appreciate us more. In my opinion, now much more.
Are you a better
Uh,
police officer if you understand these things?
yes, yes, for sure, for sure. As much as you read and understand more and more and experience more and more situations, people, then you became better. It's it's only natural. Um, I think that um, the policemen there are more sensitive to us now because they understand deeply more and more, uh, but they will not say nothing because they need to stay like not have an opinion about political issues.
Now, around the world, there is an increase in anti-Semitism. And very often, our solution is advocacy, is talking about the increase in anti-Semitism, reporting on the increase in anti-Semitism. And it seems like we very rarely just call it a crime and send the police out to deal with it. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that? Are we doing a disservice to this fight against anti-Semitism by not just saying it's a crime and let's get the police on it?
We have not been uh, aware enough to the process of um, all the refugees that went out to Europe from Muslim countries and brought with them the the mentality and violence, and they a little by bit, a little bit, a little bit every time took another piece and another piece and another job and another uh, community and influenced them, and they became a power, a political power. They became an electoral power, and the leaders of the left wing in those countries, because they wanted to stay on top, they embraced them. They brought them in, and they gave them jobs, and they gave them money, and they gave them power, including in academy with Qatar money. And because of that, they, in my opinion, their soul to them, and they will pay dearly for it when the radical Islam will raise up and take charge. If they will not do something before, but there is a way. We need to be strong in intelligence in those countries. We need to do cooperation with intelligence organization and police organizations and military organizations and all over their government to be aware of what is going on there and help them deal with it and help us deal with them, because we need them with us at the end of the road. We cannot be alone for forever. uh, I mean global way. Okay,
Right.
so we need to be strong, but we need to be cooperative.
100%. What would you say is the biggest challenge facing a police officer in Israel today?
uh, the biggest challenge for police officer today is the violence on the Arab street, uh, and the lack of uh, law backup from the courts. There is not enough punishment, almost at all. Very
You mean
small.
Arab, just to clarify, you mean Arab on Arab violence?
One thing is Arab violence. Okay, Arab crime. It's going viral. Those 3 last years, very intense, very violent, murders, rapes. We see it in Europe too. Uh, Disagreements between two tribes, two Hamulot, and it ends in shooting and murder. The and protection money. They do a lot of that. They have a lot of guns that they bring from the Jordan border and the Egyptian border, and the Bedouins help them. But this is one side of the problem. The other side of the problem is the lack of backup that the policeman need to get from his officers, from his organization, from his law system, from his courts, and the level of punishment that the crime needs to get. One example, if you bring in drugs from abroad to Israel, the punishment in the law is 20 years prison. If they will get 1 year, 2 years, you will say thank you. It's a good punishment. Very weak, very weak, very um, uh, liberal law system. Too liberal. I think that we need an internal affair of the police is very harsh, and we need to give the policemen more people, more salary, and more backup by law and by the chiefs and by the commanders, and let them do their work if we want to be safe.
There, there seems to be a high percentage of Arabs in the blue police. Is that correct? And does that help this issue of violence in the Arab sector?
See, I'll tell you something about it. Okay, young Jewish people doesn't want to come to the police those last years because money is not good. They don't have the backup that I told you about, and the law system, court system is very weak and too liberal. So, in the other hand, the police officers talked about doing the model of Britain and Ireland and bring them into the police so they could identify and talk uh, like in the other side language. So we did not agree to that then, but now it became an issue. So there's an opening, and they started to come to the police more and more and more, and the police took them. And now there is a bigger percentage of them in the police, in the blue police, but it's a growing percent. In my opinion, maybe too much, but uh, it's not critical in this stage. I hope it will stop there.
And then what about Jewish on Arab violence? Is that a problem in Israel?
Not at all. Not at all. It's all a fake news. There is none. There is none. Almost, it's a minority, like 1,000,000%. 1 of 1,000,000%. It's not very small, if it is at all. Against Arabs, against Christians, not at all. We have no problem with Christians whatsoever. No Jews have no problem with Christians. On the opposite, it's all a fake news. It's all a propaganda. Like the starvation in Gaza, it's a propaganda.